Hello and welcome to Crucible of Words for more dedicated legacy action. Today we are exploring the changes to Urza Saga a little bit more. A few days ago we played the Painter deck, and today we're trying it in a mono-red Prism deck. In case you're unfamiliar, the rule around Urza Saga has changed, or sagas in general. So basically, Blood Moon no longer kills Urza Saga, and Urza Saga gets to retain the abilities that it's gained so far. So let's say you've got two counters on it, you play the Blood Moon, your Urza Saga becomes a mountain that can then pump out constructs and it sticks around. So that's pretty good. So we're trying to squeeze it in here and see how it feels. The rest of this deck is pretty much what you would expect. We've got some Prism pieces in our Chalice of the Void, Trinisphere, obviously we've got Blood Moon and Magus of the Moon. We've got ourselves a Fury to sweep some stuff off the board if we need to. We have Broadside Bombardiers and Fable the Mirror Breaker, just your sort of staple mid-range red cards that just win the game for you. And then we've got ourselves the One Ring to gas back up. We've got a little handful of targets for our Urza Saga, so when we finish cracking down with this, we can go and get Lavaspur Boots, or we can get a Ghost Vacuum. We've got some Shatterskull Smashings and Sundering Eruptions, because these can pitch to our Chrome Mox, as well as our Fury, as well as being landed. If we have a Moon in play, we can play this as a mountain without having to pay the life to an untapped source. And yeah, that's pretty much it. A Stompy red deck. It's not big, it's not clever, but now we also have Urza Saga. Sideboard-wise, we've got Leylines for graveyard decks. We've got Fiery Confluence to blow up a bunch of artifacts or kill little creatures. We've got some Red Blasts. We've got ourselves some Dead and Gone, which can take out little creatures or bounce big ones. A Canoptek Scarab Swarm is like a fair graveyard answer. Another Trinisphere for combo decks. We've got Disruptor Flute for combo decks, and then we've got a couple more targets we can fetch with our Urza Saga. And that, lovely people, is what we're trying today. This is just one that I found from some event. I haven't really tinkered around with it. I'm not really a mono-red Stompy player, so we're just going to ball in and see how it feels. So like and subscribe, and let's see if we can do the broken Blood Moon Urza Saga thing. If you've been watching my content and thinking, I'd like to play some Legacy too, then check out 3for1 Trading, one of Europe's leading Magic the Gathering retailers. They have weekly offers and upload new cards every Wednesday. And it's not just Legacy stuff they sell. They have a beautiful selection of vintage and old school cards too. Support from sponsors like 3for1 Trading make it possible for me to put out videos and help keep Legacy alive, so why not give them some love? Click their link in the description below and use my code COW3 to enjoy free worldwide shipping on your first order over €500. Okay, we can just play like an ordinary Urza Saga game and just crank out some constructs. Is that good enough in this day and age? Probably not. Although our constructs will be pretty big. Like if we're into a fair matchup, this is a pretty reasonable hand because we just go Saga on 1, then we make a construct on 2, construct on 3, play another Saga, make another construct. Alright, we'll try it. And if they wasteland us, we can then just play another Saga. And at some point we'll draw something cool. This also allows us to draw the Blood Moon on turn 2 and just go ham. We could play out the Chrome Mox on 1 just to make sure that we doesn't get Thought Seized out of our hands. They can Thought Seize the Shatterskull Smashing. But this does expose us to things like the prismatic endings that our opponents can have. Would I like to expose myself to a prismatic ending or a Thought Seize? There is more Thought Seize in the meta than prismatic ending, so I'm going to play this Chrome Mox out. Obviously our opponent's immediately going to prismatic ending it, because that's how Magic works sometimes. But we can always just draw another card to make our Chrome Mox work, or we can just play the City of Traitors and just kind of deal with it. Alright, this is a deck that could have Thought Seize. Okay, Lotus Petal plus Underground Sea. This means either the Epic Storm or Doomsday. The Tamiyo means we're playing against Doomsday. I'm not going to play out the Chrome Mox yet. This Sundering Eruption can be useful if our opponent does a Doomsday pile and they blow up a land and they're not expecting us to blow up a land. It can completely throw their maths and make their pile not win the game. Alright, Tamiyo's going to nip in and grab some clues, or a clue even. You'll need some kind of ritual or another petal to put a Doomsday on the stack this turn. Go on the construct, got some Lavaspur Boots, just go big. I'm going to fail pushes in response. So I can play this Chrome Mox right now. I think I'm just going to play it with nothing, and then we can throw it to Broadside Bombardiers later on down the track. This just pumps our constructs. So we're having a nice big attack here for 11. So if they Doomsday, they have to win on the turn they go for it. So they have to Doomsday and win all in one turn cycle, which is doable with our opponent's deck. Alright, they're cracking their clue. This is obviously a line that mono-red Stompy decks never had available to them before. Dark Ritual. Alright, here comes the Doomsday. So this presumably means our opponent thinks they can win the game this turn. Oh no, they're Dark Ritualing to cracking with a clue. That's a real desperation move, because they would rather have the clue as a thing they get to use afterwards. So they can put a Doomsday on the stack with a blue mana available to then brainstorm. So we could still die here. White mana. I still think it's Doomsday. It's a fairy, so they can bounce one of my constructs here. But they are still dead on board, right? I guess they flip this. They minus the guys. I don't think we're going to play anything that's counterable. We'll just give our opponent an easy way of doing things here. So this is going to go up and make us a construct. And then we can play the City of Traitors. And then we can move the Lavaspur Boots over. And then we can just swing for lethal. Without ever having to put anything on the stack, really. Okay. So I do think we are playing against Doomsday. So what actually helps against Doomsday? Trinisphere is interesting. Disruptor Flute is interesting. I don't hate the red blasts. And that's probably about it. The Fiery Confluence is interesting because we could maybe like just dome our opponent. But I don't think that's where I necessarily need to be. Fury is probably the thing that's coming out here. And we probably don't need a Ghost Vacuum either. We are lower in threats, but our deck is just naturally higher in threats because we're running the Sagas. But I guess we don't have things like the Pyroglyph and stuff here to dome our opponent. Alright, I think this is fine. Turn 1, Chalice into turn 2, Fable. Sure, it's a pretty standard mono-red Stompy approach. Nothing for our opponent on turn 1. I do think getting the Chalice down is better than getting the Fable down on 1. We could use our Spirit Guide to get the Fable down. Now, this Chalice is going to stop our own red blasts. We don't have any in hand, and it's going to stop a lot more of our opponent's spells. We're going to see like a Daze here. If they brainstorm and Daze and we get the Spirit Guide in, we're going to feel real good. So now our opponent's stranded. They can't play anything on their first turn here. Or, well, on their next turn. It's their second turn, technically. Because they can't play 1-drops into our Chalice. That feels pretty good. Do we just try and end the game right now? I think so. I don't think they're beating a Resolve Blood Moon. Alright, we win the game. Yeah, we did the prison-y stuff. Our deck is more prison-y than some of the Stompy decks that you would see before the Urza Saga change, but so far, so good. Turn 1 Chalice is pretty good. Is that better than turn 1 Blood Moon? I would like the Blood Moon in play, I think. I think we are going to pitch the Blood Moon here. Let's see if we can get this in. This could just win the game on the spot. It could do literally nothing as well. But the amount of times it does win the game on the spot is pretty high. Swamp. Thoughtseize. I guess Chalice would have been better, but they're probably just going to take the Fury. But we can still get to play the Chalice. If they've got reanimation stuff, they might be able to get back this Fury later. Right, let's shut off some 1-drops with this Chalice. And we're looking for a land so we can start bombardiersing. We can play this Chalice as a Chalice for 0 and just shock something, which can take care of some creatures. Alright, Polluted Delta is shut off. Ancient Tomb. This is just a mountain. But it's a mountain that's going to cast our Broadside Bombardiers. And they're just scooping to the Bombardiers. Alright, yeah, rattling through it. So we've seen Swamp, Polluted Delta, Thoughtseize. Our opponent could be a mono-black deck that's just using the Polluted Delta to go and get the Surveil land and trigger things like Stalactite Stalker. Or they could be a blue deck. We honestly don't know, so I don't really know how we're supposed to sideboard. Ghost Vacuum could be useful. We don't know. I think we're just going to have to send it as is and then readjust later. There could even be a Storm deck for all we know. So I think we just have to take our lumps, go back in with our main deck. Ooh, we get to do the Urza Saga thing. That's worth keeping. So we can make a turn 1 Fable. That's pretty good. Definitely worth interacting with if our opponent has counter magic. The scoring time tells us that they are probably a blue-black deck. Right, we're in with a Fable. That's pretty big news. They're going to Fatal Push our Goblin here, or are they just going to do like an Entomb line and just kill us with the Graveyard? Yep, Entomb, still legal. Still going to ruin our day. Now, they might not have the reanimation spell to go with it, but if they do, that's probably game. We were just too good at killing our opponent in game 1. We didn't know how to sideboard. Okay, a reanimate. Fun. Okay. We get to see a lot of their deck. Engineered explosives, null rod, Barragoyf, bunch of forces. Force of Will, Wasteland, Barragoyf, explosives. Alright, so they have the engineered explosives. They can blow up all of our 0-drops, which is a lot of things. Sundering Eruption. That's not really the one, is it? I guess we'll get rid of these 2 lands. We have the Blood Moon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I kind of want to play this Bombardiers. We're playing the Saga. If we want to play the Blood Moon, we need to play the City. Right, so get the Bombardiers. And you're going to force this? So we're kind of hoping to attack with the Shaman token and then use the treasure to make a Bombardiers. And then we fling this token using our... Right, they did have the force here. Do I think we're beating this Atraxa? It's going to connect next turn. We're going to lose a bunch of stuff. You can make them gain 7 life. Maybe we stop them from ever being able to play anything else. And we still die to the Atraxa, but we'll give it a go. Yes, you get 7 life here, opponent. I hate that a great deal. Is Blood Moon or Magus of the Moon better? Probably just actual factual Blood Moon, isn't it? It's a harder thing for our opponent to interact with. Because they can obviously point removal at our creatures. Okay, so our opponent doesn't really get to play more spells this game. But they do have a 7/7 Flying Vigilance, Death Touch, Lifelink creature. Oh, okay, they just immediately drew the swamp. Alright, alright. You got me. At least we know what we're up against now. So we can bang in these delicious Leyline of the Voids. So that is step 1. Do we need Furies? I don't think we need Furies here. So I want Leylines. We obviously want the Vacuum. A bit more Graveyard Hate here is probably sensible. Trinisphere is good. All these things are pretty good, so it becomes very difficult to work out how we fit in the Scarab Swarm. Is it a Trinisphere? Trinisphere is really irritating for our opponent. But if that's the case, do we not want the other Trinisphere as well? So we could run 2 Trinispheres. But then we have to cut 2 cards to fit them in. Is the One Ring too slow here? Against our opponent's Daze deck? Maybe. Right, we'll try it without the full amount of One Rings. Right, we can always get rid of our One Rings using Broadside Bombardiers. So we're not at any risk of dying if we only have 2. Okay, we have Graveyard Hate. I will keep this. We also have the turn 2 Urza Saga ticking down, right? Or Urza Saga Blood Moon combo. That feels pretty good. Let's play this. Force of Will, Pitching Daze. Am I playing this Chrome Mox out to dodge Force of Will? Sorry, to dodge Thoughtseize. I think we are. Because this just guarantees us a Blood Moon next turn if we put the Spirit Guide underneath it. I guess it doesn't guarantee it because we have the Sundering Eruption, but... Alright, we'll do it like this. So they could take the Sundering Eruption, we need to find a land. But if we do find a land... So we just want to see like a Ponder here. Okay, not a Ponder. We should have brought in the Grafdigger's cage as well. I think that... Did I have a cage? I think I had a cage in the sideboard that was supposed to come in. Let's get that Blood Moon in. So they go and get their basic here. If they get Swamp, we still lose this game probably because they just go in Tomb, make their guy. Because they Force of Will the Ghost Vacuum, which means they want to play with their graveyard. Another Force of Will. Okay. So we're not getting all the value out of this Saga that I wanted. Alright, this is not the Entomb. Okay. We have another Blood Moon. We can fire that off. And we'll find a win condition eventually. Ponder. If they don't play a basic or something that accesses a basic this turn, then we'll definitely stand the Blood Moon. Otherwise, maybe we just play the Saga or whatever we draw for turn. So we'll see. As a Bloodstained Mire, that can fetch a basic Swamp. Would I like to get the Saga going or not? So we play the Saga, so that gets us just a little guy, and I wish we'd have had the Grafdigger's cage that I should have sideboarded in. Huge mistake here. I think we're going to make a construct. I think that we want Lavaspur Boots here. And then we're going to bash for 4. Start making the card reanimate a less exciting prospect. If we'd have had this Do we have I think we have a Grafdigger's Cage. Yeah, we do. I just missed it underneath my Pithing Needle. Yikes. We could have fetched that, and then we don't have to worry about just getting reanimated on. But maybe they don't have it. I'm not sure why I would say that, because that means they're definitely going to have it. Now they get to play on basics. This Blood Moon is not going to be that useful, but we're just going to transition into smashing them down with Bombardiers and trying to get over the finish lines. This is what, 6 damage, 7, 8, 9 damage, 3 mana, a Barragoyf. Yeah, that's kind of horrible for us. Magus of the Moon. Well, we can play that. How useful is it to do that? This connecting with us is a nightmare. We don't have any way of getting this bigger. Right, we're just going to go for having a bigger clapback next turn. We just got to take the 5. They go up to 16. Yikes. Could certainly do without this Barragoyf being around. Am I chump blocking? I don't think I am chump blocking here. Nope, you got it, boss. Oh, they've milled over an Atraxa. And they're going to pick up that Brazen Borrower. Are you going to reanimate that Atraxa? And we can just be done here. Yep, Blue Bat Reanimator beating us again. And I can't wait for this deck to actually get the proper bans it needs. Alright, let's go to round 3. Whilst I may not play Pauper, I know a lot of you lovely people out there do. So I thought I'd let you know about a great charity Pauper tournament happening in upstate New York on the 21st of June. The tournament is in support of the Trevor Project and Trans Lifeline, so sign up to help a worthy cause and have fun doing it. It's a troubling time for our trans comrades out there, so show them that you've got their back. Click the link in the description of this video for more details. Okay, we can do the old Urza Saga plan here, which is one of the things we want to see if it is any good or not. Obviously, you know, we know in theory it's pretty good, but how does it actually work in practice? Sure, I'll keep this one. We can turn 1 a Blood Moon if it becomes a situation where that's the thing we have to do as well. Lotus Petal. Are we dead on turn 1? Urza's Saga. Okay. So we don't really want to play a Blood Moon and give our opponent permanent Urza Saga cranking out. Okay, we've got a Dark Ritual. We're going to see Beseech the Mirror. Shouldered the Apocalypse. Well, that's a real doozy, isn't it? Shatterskull Smashing. How much damage is that going to be able to achieve in the near future? Are we just stone cold dead to this? I guess we draw Broadside Bombardiers and that gets there. We could start cranking out constructs, but that isn't very good for us because that will give our opponent constructs as well. So we need to slow down a turn. So I guess we play the Shatterskull Smashing tapped, so we can get that out of the way in case we don't draw untapped lands in later turns. So we're looking to Broadside Bombardiers, fling something at his Shouldered. Now we could just be getting Echo of Eons very soon. Next turn we probably want to play the Saga. I do not feel very safe right now. One of the weaknesses of like red Stompy decks is when someone just plays a big scary creature that is just more than you can handle. And a turn 1 Shouldered certainly fits that bill. Thoughtseize, sure. What do they take here? The Fury. That's one of the ways that we get to where we need to go. Yep, they took the Fury as expected. Next time they get LED and they probably wheel us. Yep. So I guess this turn we go for Shatterskull Smashing on the Saga. And then next turn we are playing Blood Moon, and then we're just probably dead to this Shouldered, so maybe we have to start cranking out a couple of constructs. They do not have any basic lands, so that was just a straight up Stone Rain. Cool. I'll take that. Unfortunately, I'll also take a big hit from this Shouldered. So if we go to 4 here, we actually go to 6. So we do need a construct to block this turn. So we don't get to set up the Urza Saga. Maybe we're not supposed to play the Urza Saga out. Okay, they've got another Saga. Okay. So we have to chump block with this Saga. And then what? How are we getting out of this? I suppose we had an option where we play the... No, because we need red, don't we? I was thinking about playing City of Traitors and stuff. Then we're just going to die to turn 1 Shouldered. I did consider just scooping as soon as they put the Shouldered into play. Alright, Chrome Mox. This is going to allow them to make as a Saga construct. Will they put underneath that? A Gaia's Will. Sure. Okay, we kind of have something resembling a little bit of a plan. So this as a Saga goes and fetches us a Chrome Mox here. Chrome Mox imprints the Blood Moon. We play the City of Traitors. We deploy this Fable the Mirror Breaker. And then next turn we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage through this Shatterskull Smashing to kill the Shouldered. And we'll stabilize on 2 life. However, I say stabilize. We are going to get jammed up by Urza Saga constructs. We do have to block both of these. I think we are dead though. I guess we could draw... No, Fury doesn't do it because we need both of these cards to finish our opponent off. Oh, they're making mana. That could end up being useful for us. Or we're just dead this turn is another option as well. Oh, they just have tendrils. That's lethal. Sure. That'll do. Alright, turn 1 Shoulder, not very nice for us. They have Gaia's Will, so Leyline does stuff here. They have stuff we want to Trinisphere out as well. I don't think we need these things. Fiery Confluence, maybe. Do we want Dead and Gone just for the Shouldereds and Urza Saga tokens? I don't think we do. Our Magus of the Moon and Blood Moon can shut down their sagas. We can play it when they're only on 1 counter, and then they never get to do anything with it. Grafdigger's Cage is reasonable here. Disruptor Flute is reasonable. These are 7 cards that look relatively good. I'm not really convinced by the Furies here. I don't think that's what our plan is. We don't need a Ghost Vacuum. And then what, we cutting some 1-rings because the game is going to be condensed into fewer turns? Yeah, I can believe that. Okay, I'll keep this. I don't like having double Leyline. Do we need to put 2 Leylines into play? I don't think we do. We can obviously discard this to a Fable the Mirror Breaker soon. So I think our turn 1 play should be Fable here. Is that true, or should it be the Blood Moon? If we play the Blood Moon here, we are going to be waiting for 2 mana sources to get anything going. I think we just have to hope that this turn is okay for us. And then next turn we can deploy the Blood Moon because we get the treasure token from the Goblin. I think it's just the most stable way of doing things. So we can Blood Moon, then play our Sundering Eruption tapped. Or untapped if we find something useful to do with it. Just don't do anything scary. We can Blood Moon even if they have a Saga because it'll only have 1 counter on, so it won't be pumping out constructs, and that's fine. A Lotus Petal. What else is going on here? Nothing. Okay, that's good news. We already have one thing that we're more than happy to get rid of here. It's a Bowmasters. It is a Bowmasters. A rude little Bowmasters. They're going to ping our Shaman token. Okay. How many cards are we supposed to discard to this? Because if we get rid of 1 more card, they get a Bowmaster ping, and then that's kind of awkward for us. So I guess we say no. I can play a Blood Moon out and just shut my opponent's mana off of them. That seems fine. It's not perfect, but if we are just playing the game of Bowmasters versus what we have in play, we win that game. So if we can stop our opponent having additional follow-up plays, then eventually the value from this will be enough to win us the game. Also, Sundering Eruption, they've already shown us they don't have any basics, so we can blow up this Bayou. Or if they do have a basic, maybe it was in their hand, that's why they didn't get off the Sundering Eruption. Which means that if we do Sundering Eruption, we might fix their mana. Let's really get this. Play this. We kind of want the mana here. Am I willing to trade this for both of their guys? I think I am. He's going to play a Simian Spirit Guide here. I think they just take the 2 here, but I could be wrong. If they're playing Echo of Eons, they're not going to give up their Orc Army here. Alright. 8 beatdown it is. A Boseiju. A Lotus Petals. They have mana of a relevant colour now, because Lotus Petal can give them any colour mana they wish. I'll play my Mountain here. I will copy the Goblin Shaman token. And we're sending in the team here. Getting a couple of treasures. So they need to like bounce our Leyline and then echo us and then we die. Broadside Bombardiers is a thing we can draw at any point. That'd be pretty good. Alright, so I'm probably going to trade back some damage here. No, they are back on blocks. Another Saga. Sure, I'll play that. Let's crack in for the damage we have. We had an option there of playing a second Leyline in the Void. Okay, we're going to lose because we didn't play the second Leyline in the Void? Perhaps. So I didn't play it because I wanted to be able to loot it away later on deck. But I guess we should have just stuck it down. But they might have Wear Down, I think, is the green spell that blows up 2 things. See how dead we are here. Lion's Eye Diamond. Burning Wish. Infernal Tutor. Cracking Lion's Eye Diamond. So this could be a Beseech the Mirror for Gaia's Will here. No, they can't do that because Gaia's Will is in the bin. Beseech the Mirror for Song of Creation. Oh, just getting a big old shouldered. Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it? They should probably come in with these guys now. No. Okay. Shatterskull Smashing. I'm going to get rid of the token. Is it the token I get rid of? Because the token is something they can Beseech the Mirror to. So these are my targets. Let's work out how much mana we have first. 1, 2. That plays for it. Then we need to put 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana, 6 mana in. What? Why did this not work? Why did it force me into paying it for 2 mana? It didn't give me a chance to up it. Great. Okay. That was a pretty horrible misclick. Yeah, I think we just had this game. And then it slipped away from us. Now, we hit our opponent for 2 damage here. Or we clear the Bowmasters. That misclick is really going to irritate me. I was scrolling through the little window and I couldn't see anywhere to adjust it. So I was like, here's the 2 targets. They've changed how this would work, I think, from last time I played a Shatterskull Smashing, which is quite a while ago. So what they should do here is they should block the Goblin Shaman token and then either take 2 or chump with the Bowmaster. If we draw Broadside Bombardiers, we win. If we draw Fury, we win. Oh wait, we brought out the Fury, didn't we? Because it's just the shoulder they have, yeah. Okay, so we need Broadside Bombardiers. The One Ring is a weird one. I've just taken 4 here. So they're going to go up to 4. If they... What? So they can't attack here. They keep us back on blocks and they still die. This has not been a great showcase of the game of Magic the Gathering. Yeah, so we had a punt and then our opponent punted as well. Why didn't they block with the Shieldred? Okay, let's go back to the sideboard. Do we want to do anything differently here? I don't think so. That was a pretty ugly game of Magic the Gathering. Sorry you had to witness that. Do I just want some Dead and Gones just for the Shieldred? Maybe that's better than the One Ring, as weird as that sounds. Because if our prison stuff stops their combo, we just need to stop the big fatty they put into play. Okay. Turn 1, Chalice. Turn 2, Trinisphere. That's pretty good against the old combo decks. Alternatively, if we draw the right thing, we might be able to do turn 1, Chalice for 0 plus Trinisphere. But our opponent can just kill us on turn 1. A thought, Steve, would you like to take my Trinisphere or my Chalice here? I think whatever they take, we're obviously going to be able to get the other one into play unless they take the Chalice and then they take the Trinisphere next turn. Or they just go off next turn. Depending on how many turns they think this game is going to last, will determine what they take, I think. They took the Chalice. They want to stop us having a turn 1 play. Understandable. Simian Spirit Guide. Well, I'm not going to say no to this one, am I? Not a bad draw. This will jam our opponent up considerably. They might never cast a spell this game. But they might do Urza Saga stuff. But we should beat them because we have 3 Urza Sagas queued up. We could just Sundering Eruption this Saga and not have to worry about it. I like that. Get out of here, Urza Saga. Only we may Urza Saga. Do they have a basic? They didn't have a basic last time we did this. Do they have a basic in hand? They're going to Besage you our Trinisphere. Okay, it's pretty good. We get a mountain. Only 4 cards in our opponent's hand though. Another Urza Saga. Okay, let's just do dueling sagas. Here's mine. And we can play out the second one next turn as well, because we have the mana to just activate them both. Yes, it will cost us Ancient 2 mana, but ours are going to be bigger than our opponents. Mox Opal, Chrome Mox. And a Lotus Pearl. Okay, so they're making some large boys. But we get to make more boys than them. Right, this escalating as a Saga fiasco is interesting, isn't it? Let's play this Chrome Mox out. I want to have access to more artifacts in play so our constructs are bigger. I don't think our opponent's going to Pithing Needle as a Saga, but if they do, we're going to crack this and we're going to activate this in response. So they go and get, what is this, a 4/4. That is certainly bigger than what we are immediately putting down. They could have something like Haywire Might, which can blow up and as a Saga. I'm tapping this for mana. That's really scary. Alright. They fetch the Lion's Eye Diamond. They're playing out a Chrome Mox. Gonna bash us for 6. That is an Echo of Eons. Alright, we might be dead this turn. What do they wheeled us into? Not bad selection of stuff. No artifacts we can jam down for free to pump our construct though. I'm playing out Mox Opal. Their construct is going to stay the same size because of the legend draw. 4 mana. Shoulder it. 5 mana. Song of Creation. Yep. So every spell they play, they get to draw 2 cards. That is pretty good. Right, they're going to Thoughtseize us. Be my guest. I probably should have us here. It's unfortunate for us they had the answer to the Trinisphere immediately. So we couldn't have a few turns of generators and constructs and pressuring our opponent. So Storm Count is 6. So our Ritual takes them to 7. They need 1 more mana and a Tendrils. And that'll do it if they've got Tendrils in hand. If they need to fetch the Tendrils and they need to do something else here. Okay, so now they've got the Lion's Eye Diamond. If they've got any tutor effect, they can tutor, then crack the LEDs. Alternatively, they can just draw their whole deck here. Right, there's the Tendrils, and that is us cooked. Alright, on to round number 4. For the best Eternal experience this summer, check out Eternal Mania in Hasselt, Belgium from August 8th to 10th. Aside from hosting the European Legacy Masters, they have a whole host of other tournaments from team trios to old school and pre-modern. I will be there playing Legacy and hanging out as a special guest. This will also be the first event that I'll be giving out my own special Marit Lage tokens, so why not come down to enjoy an awesome weekend ran by one of the best TOs in Europe. Turn 1, Blood Moon into other stuff. Yeah, this is fine. Let's see what our opponent's doing. Scalding Tarn player. So we could be looking at combo, we could be looking at Delver. Basic Island. Tamiyo. Blood Moon not looking so hot. Ancient Tomb. Let's play this Fable, I think, instead now. Yep, a daze. Unfortunate. So is our opponent Reanimator? Are they like blue-red, black-blue, Doomsday? Who knows what they are. Wasteland, goodbye Ancient Tomb. That's fine because our hand is just mana right now. I will play a tapped land. I do feel that our threat density in this particular build is a bit low compared to like the regular Stompy decks. Now, yes, we do have Urza Sagas being threats, but it's not the same thing. Right, they're choosing to play a fetch land rather than play the basic we knew about. Do I want to play out this Bombardiers? I I think I'm just going to play out the Lavaspur Boots around days. The next turn we can play Bombardiers and equip it. It's not an amazing play to do that, but we'll take it. Are they getting a basic here or not? If we try and play the Blood Moon that turn, our opponent can probably ignore what we're doing. Oh, Entomb, here we go again. We've already seen that this is not the nicest thing for us to play against. I'm very annoyed that I was right about Entomb needing to be the card that goes and not the Troll. I would have loved to have been right. I would love to have been wrong, sorry. And not have to deal with this being the best deck in the meta still. Thoughtseize, Force of Will. Yeah, we can just call it a day. Alright, let's go and smash a bunch of Graveyard Hate in our deck. Grafdigger's Cage. Leyline of the Voids. Trinisphere is okay here. I don't really like the Furies. Our opponent can reanimate them. And we've already discussed the One Rings are pretty sketchy. Do I want any Red Blasts? I can answer a Tamiyo, but this can sort of answer a Tamiyo in some ways, and we can attack the Tamiyo. Does this hit Planeswalkers? Yes. I think we're okay against Tamiyo. Problem is, their fair plan, we can't really board against their fair plan and their unfair plan. We just have to hope that our plan beats their fair plan, which it will do sometimes, but Baraglyph is such a pain. Baraglyph really has changed the dynamics of a lot of these matchups. We're on the play, we got the Leyline, we don't really have any threats. Our deck is a little threat light there. I think we can do better than this. Okay, this looks better. Put back the second Chrome Mox, I think. I will deploy a Grafdigger's Cage. Let's not worry about that nonsense our opponent has. Now they Force of Will this, they do Force of Will this. Okay, so they pitched an Atraxa to do it though, which tells me that they're playing the build that has more than one reanimation target. Thoughtseize, what are you going to take? Probably Fable, would be my guess. But maybe they're just scared enough of the One Ring that take it. I took the One Ring, okay. So this might mean they have a Daze for this Fable. They really want to play out into a Daze. A Blood Moon though. Sure, I'll jam a Blood Moon into a Daze. Oh wow, we're in. Okay, our opponent might not get to play the game. Some just desserts. I think if they had a Daze, they would have dazed that as well. Now we don't have to worry about Daze. Chrome Mox. We can imprint our Leyline. I think obviously they can't play Daze now because they don't have any blue. They don't have any islands or anything or blue mana. Okay, so our opponent's lands don't work and we have a threat in play. Right, it missed on lands. That's good for us. I'm not going to discard this Failing Mirror Breaker. Just smash this in. So now we have the double Fable, so we can copy as much as we have mana. So one can copy the other one and just go wild. So I think this game is very nearly over. Alright, our opponent's had enough. Good. But now we are on the draw, which is a lot worse for us. I think we just resend as is. We don't put that much stuff in our own graveyard, so in theory the Baraglyph might not be too much of an issue. Because the Leyline will shut down their graveyard, and as long as we don't loot too hard with our Fables, we should be in a reasonable spot. Obviously we can't keep this because we don't get to cast any spells. Let's try something else. Okay. Like, we need to not die to their combo, so here we are. Are we getting rid of an Ancient Tomb? I think it's an Ancient Tomb. I like having access to red. I'll play this out. I will cast a Grafdigger's Cage around Daze. Plan is to follow up with a Chalice. And then we can One Ring the next turn. This could get tagged by the Daze. It didn't. Okay, we shut down our opponent's 1-drops and their graveyard. That is a lot of prison that we're putting down. Why did our opponent not care about this? Are they playing a red splash for Meltdown? Maybe they just don't have counter magic. They don't always have, I suppose. Right, so you can play this One Ring around a Daze. Sign me up. Okay, they did have counter magic, but it was a force. What are they pitching? A Brazen Borrower. That's interesting, because Brazen Borrower is one of the things that can get them out from underneath these annoying permanents that we have. Aha, an engineered explosives. It's on 0, so it's going to take out our Chrome Mox and our Chalice. Goodbye, permanents. I hope you like this Chalice as much as you like the last one. Okay, we're going to be getting pretty close to Ape Spirit Beatdown soon. Chalice. Alright. We could put Chalice on 2. I think that locks out our opponent's entire deck, apart from the massive scary 3-drops. So let's not do that. Let's just make a medium-sized threat and start beating down. So we do just lose to land Barragoyf here. Right, in Spirit Guide. I'm not going to play out this Chalice. We have things like Fable that can loot it away. Let's keep missing on a land opponent. Right, we'll attack. Let's get Trinisphere down. Our life total is still lower than our opponents. Soon Spirit Guide. Perhaps City of Traitors. I will deploy a Chalice for 2. This will shut down our opponent's ability to like Brazen Borrower stuff. It also means that they can't just go to discard a Traxxer, and then play an Animate Dead on it. A Ghost Vacuum that doesn't do anything cool. Alright, Simian Spirit Guide. Now, if we had something like a Pyroblast in our deck, this would be good. Okay, so now they can just deploy the Barragoyf and we lose. Yep, can't beat that. Urza's Saga. They do have a Wasteland face up, but they take themselves off of 3-drops to do it. I guess we have to block the Barragoyf as well. This is miserable. Okay, let's send the ape under the bus. Alright, they are taking themselves off of casting any more spells. But why would they need to cast spells when they have a 6/7 Barragoyf? The One Ring that we can't cast. Yeah, we're just done here. Oh, the blue-black reanimated deck is just too much, because you have to board all your Graveyard Hate stuff, otherwise you lose to it. But then you just lose to all the fair stuff. It's just too tight a package, and I really hope that they ban it once and for all with getting rid of Entomb this month. On to the final round. We're currently looking at a 1 and 3, but all of the ones we've lost were 1-2s. They're all relatively close. Let's go to the final round. Okay, we've got a Chalice into Fable. We are unfortunately on the draw, so maybe this is too slow or doesn't do enough. One a time. A Marsh Flats. We like Death and Taxes? Or like mono black stuff? Encroach. Wowzers, trousers. Our opponent is having a cool time. So if you're unfamiliar with this one, it is a discard spell that only hits non-basic lands. Don't know what our opponent's doing, but they're having a sweet time. So am I supposed to just get this Fable out right now? I think that's honestly what we're supposed to be doing. So this can put another Fable underneath it. Or is it the Shatterskull? If I'm expecting this land to die, we probably need to put the Fable underneath it. Like, it feels like our opponent's probably going to have sinkholes and stuff like that in their deck. So we want to get this down so that we have a source of mana. Well, they didn't play anything. They played Flagstones. That's interesting. Yes, we're going to get rid of just the Chrome Mox, I think. A Blood Moon. Interesting. Let's attack. Feels like a Bowmasters might be a thing that our opponent could have here. So are we supposed to play out the One Ring, or are we supposed to just... We're always supposed to play out the One Ring, right? This card is too good to not play out here. Let's draw a card. We're going to play Land Jet. Would I like to get an Ancient Tomb in right now? Yes, because it doesn't deal us damage, so we can just play out this Chalice. That has really come up Millhouse for us, right? Alright, our opponent's had enough. So let's go to the sideboard. I don't wholly know what else is going to be in our opponent's deck. Maybe we're just shoving again, as is. Yeah, we can keep this one. Urborg, no turn 1 play. Okay. What is the line here? I don't really want to play into a wasteland. I guess we're just playing out a basic mountain and passing. Then next turn we can play Bombardiers. Turn after we can play the One Ring. Smallpox. I'll discard a Shatterskull Smashing. Kaya. So they're getting their flagstones back. Very nice. Okay. What are we doing now? I guess we play a Chalice on one. So we've got confirmation our opponent's doing smallpoxy stuff. What does this Kaya actually do? This is exile up to one creature, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Each opponent loses 2 life. So they want to flicker something. What are they flickering here? Each opponent discards a card and you draw a card. It's a pretty good mode on that as well. Rancid Earth. Beautiful. Alright. If I'm going to go out, this is how I want to go out. Whatever we play here is not really going to last for very long, is it? I'll play in a City of Traitors. So maybe they don't want to waste their time blowing up a City of Traitors when it's going to die anyway. And maybe we can just get a creature down and start bashing. Another flagstones. So smallpox is very good for our opponent here. Maybe for next month's smallpox video we'll play a white pox. Okay, so I'm just going for it, sure. Maybe we'll play black white pox. Who knows? Ghostly Prison. Yeah. That's a good one. Right, for the same reasons as last time, we're going to do this City of Traitors play. If our opponent wants to spend resources on a thing that's disappearing anyway, I guess that's fine. And then we can just dump a Fable Mirror Breaker into play. We get smallpoxed. I feel it. It's coming. Oh, Vindicate. Sure. I'll play the Sundering Eruption tapped. At some point, they will run out of ways of blowing up our lands. And hopefully our hyper-efficient fire design cards will get us there. This was not that turn, though. What if they got Richtown Ports over there? Okay. Shatterskull Smashing. Your turn. Our opponent's got 1 card in hand. If you're unfamiliar with Rancid Earth, it also deals 1 damage to each creature and each player when they have Threshold. Right, our lands are no longer dying. And now we just get to play 1 card that kind of undoes a lot of what our opponent's just been doing. Such is the design of Magic the Gathering cards of the last however many years. Now, we can't get treasure unless we get to attack. And we can't attack unless we pay 2. So actually in a slightly weirder spot than you might think. I'll get rid of another Saga and one of the Bombardiers. Magus of the Moon. That's going to shut down a lot of our opponent's lands over there. But we don't have to do it this turn. I think this turn we play the One Ring. Get that in there. And then next turn we play Magus of the Moon and we just have an Urza Saga that can chunk stuff out without being able to get killed by Wasteland. Now our opponent has shown us to have lots of ways that kill lands, so more stuff can go on from there. I'll gas back up. Got a Bowmasters. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, we're going to lose our Reflection of Kiki-Jiki and they're going to end up with a relatively thick creature. I assume the last ping goes to us or... Oh no, they're going to put it on here so we can't draw any additional cards. So now we go 1, 2, 3 for Magus of the Moon. Right, they're going to go fetch a basic in response. Makes sense. I'll play a Mox Diamond, then I'll imprint a Simian Spirit Guide. And then we can make a construct off of this. Or we can attack. I'm going to make a construct. So next time we probably want to get our Broadside Bombardiers in the mix. Our opponent's going to have a bad time here. Right, we get to clean this up for free, more or less. They could have a Bowmasters here. And that's fine. Trinisphere, okay. Most of our spells are 3 in mana anyway, so that's not an issue. Right, we're not going to draw cards with the One Ring because they have a Bowmaster in play. Shatterskull Smashing. 1, 2, 3, 4 mana here. This comes in just as a mountain, so that's 5 mana. This will give us the 6th mana. So we go to attacks here. This pays, this attacks. And we pay 2. It has to have menace. So it's going to connect. And then we hold priority. We tap the One Ring here. And then in response, we throw our One Ring at the Bowmasters. And then we get to draw the cards. It's a Fury. Okay, I think we are in an incredibly solid position here. Like our opponent was saying in chat, like they're playing with a bunch of like basically pre-modern cards like Rancid Earth and stuff. And not necessarily Smallpox, but it's an oldie that hasn't been good for a little while, even though I love it. So our opponent's definitely got themselves in a tricky situation here. Dark Ritual into our Chalice of the Void. They're trying to fill up their graveyard for something, perhaps. Maybe they've gone proper old school and have like Skeletal Scrying. Right, I will deploy a mountain. I guess we might as well play this mountain. So we go to attacks. This attacks, this attacks. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. Okay, I think it's just the Broadside Bombardiers. If this attacks, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. We get treasure so we can activate the Saga for next turn. I think at this point it's just a case of we are just going to win this game. We just need to kind of get through it. We got the GGs in chat. We have lethal next turn anyway. Alright, so we finished the league now. So that is a little 2-3. So again, not really a record that I would be happy with this deck. And I think there were some problems with the decks, but the rounds we lost, if we have a look here, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. So we were competitive in all of our rounds. It just didn't quite come together. We got bodied by the blue-back reanimated deck a couple of times, which, you know, hopefully won't be a thing soon. So as for this list, I think the Urza Saga thing is fine. That felt good. What didn't feel good was just our general threat density. Like, we're not playing like Pyrogoyfs. Like, yes, we have Fury, which is kind of doing a similar-ish job. But I just missed having Pyrogoyfs. And because we're playing like targets for our Urza Saga to go and fetch, it means that, you know, we've got a little bit less space in the deck. And then obviously we've got these Trinispheres. There's Trinisphere as well, so there's a little bit less space in the deck. I think I would rather have some number of Pyrogoyfs in here, just to bulk out our threats. Like, how much do we need Ghost Vacuum and Lavaspur Boots? Like, the decks where we want the Ghost Vacuum, by the time we've gone through the Urza Saga, it's either going to be too late. Well, it probably is going to be too late at that point, right? And the Urza Saga can always tutor up Chrome Mox for us later on, so it can still get something. The Lavaspur Boots was good, though. We definitely won games off of the Urza Saga, and we did assemble the Urza Saga engine in that last round. I think the Urza Saga is fine. Maybe this shouldn't be a 4 of in the deck, though. Maybe we can trim a little bit on this and enable us to get some Pyrogoyfs back in the mix. That was kind of one of the things that felt missing. But yeah, you know, deck feels, you know, fine. It hasn't been doing very well in challenges for a while. I can't remember the last time I got a top 8 in a challenge. It's been a while. The deck has been kind of pushed out of the meta by a lot of stuff. I think when a bunch of decks are running Pyrogoyfs, it's a real tough sell to play a deck that looks like this, because they can just play one creature that invalidates a lot of what you're trying to do, and then you have to go through some pretty sketchy hoops to get there. You kind of need to do like Fury plus Bombardier lines, or throw your One Ring at the Pyrogoyf. That's normally how you're trying to deal with it, and sometimes throwing your One Ring at the Pyrogoyf isn't even enough to kill it. So I think it's a tough ask for this deck right now. And we've certainly seen that. It's dropped to about 3% of the meta, which is the lowest it's been for a long time now. I can't remember the last time it was that low. I think we're looking at... No, I genuinely can't think of a time where it's been this as low in the meta as it is now, because people were still playing it even when we had Psychic Frog and stuff, so you just try and turn on Blood Moon and shut decks off. And they were going up on Blood Moon. Maybe we need to have a look at the build and try and build something a bit more like that. I'm not sure. I'm not really a mono-red Stompy player. All I know is that I wanted a little bit more threats here, and I don't know how we're supposed to reliably beat Pyrogoyf, and if we can't reliably beat Pyrogoyf, we probably just can't play this deck at the moment, because too many of the top decks are running Pyrogoyfs right now. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this one. A little bit more of a foray into the world of new Urza Saga rulings. So far, I will say that it's certainly not Sky has fallen, this is too powerful, but maybe when we get some bans and the format slows down, where something like this can actually shine, we'll see. Until then, I think this is totally a fine interaction, even if I think it's a bit weird. For now. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and goodbye.
If you'd like to support me in the channel, please check out my Patreon. It has a free guide to budget turbo depths, as well as 3 tiers of support.
a low-cost one that enters you into my monthly raffle for a free donation deck on the channel, a mid-tier subscription that gives you access to my detailed turbo decks guide that is updated every month as well as regular articles, and lastly, the higher tier gives you all of the above as well as a monthly donation deck for my channel. If you're interested in supporting the channel this way, please check out the link in the description.